What's up, little baby? Good to see everybody who's coming in. It is going to be a fun show today. We have a special guest. Actually, double that. Got two special guests. Eleanor McCoy, running for second VP. Also, friend of the show, Bryan Fulford from the O&G Strikezone will be coming on about the 8:40 area. We're going to talk about the upcoming news that you have or have not gotten. If you haven't heard, the word is FAMU basketball coach Patrick Crarey will be leaving. I can confirm that. And I definitely reached out to coach, congratulating him. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah, you're not gonna, you don't get to slide on that kind of stuff. It's B2A and the belt's over there somewhere. But before that, I'm gonna handle a little business because I got a fellow Orlando alumni member here because she's running for second VP. So, and I told y'all, I don't know what some of these positions do. So I'm finding out just like you. But y'all already know what it always is, what's about to be. Fangs up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does! And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, greetings, salutations. All right, her last name is McCoy. So I took a little bit of a layup, but I didn't take the slam dunk. So episode is just got titled "The Real" with an ellipsis at the end, because at the end we were real about this coach situation. But I didn't want to be that lazy. Like I almost was like the real McCoy. I'm like I'm punting, but I'm better than that. So get to see the real person, as I told y'all with these NAA elections. Part of my purpose was to like, who these people are. I don't know you. Some of y'all I know like in meetings, but some of y'all I don't know at all. So what's up, Tamara T? What's up, Gail? So the purpose of this is so you get to know people, because I'm getting to that second part of the ballot myself, and I'm like, I don't know them. So let's stop that and bring on our guest. Hopefully she's ready. If she's not, hey, as my granddaddy say, I ain't ready, but I'll go. Hopefully she'll be ready to go. All right. There we go. We got you. Eleanor McCoy, how's it going?
It's going. It's doing well. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. As y'all have seen and as y'all have heard, man, we have our National Alumni Association elections going on right now. So highly encouraging you to go vote. One of the candidates calling me right now. But I actually reached out to one of my coworkers today, and I know she's an alumni lifetime member. Had a FAMU gear on. I was like, Coach, did you go vote? And she's like, huh? And she's like, check your email, Coach. All right. So I'll double check with her tomorrow. You may have to remind your friends, remind your family. NAA elections going on right now. And with our second VP, she reached out to me, and I was like, I don't even really know what the second VP does, but I'm going to find out today. So thank you for coming on. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, and just, kind of ingratiate yourself to us?
Sure. Eleanor McCoy. When I was at FAMU, everyone referred to me as Lynn. I played on the FAMU tennis team. I was in SBI. I was a business administration major. And as most people know who are in the business school, Dean Sybil Mobley was an accountant. And so we had a heavy load of accounting as secondary courses, regardless of what your major was. So we could easily minor in accounting. Well, after my first internship at Prudential in Newark, New Jersey, in accounting, I made up my mind at that point that I wanted to focus on business administration and something else. And so I ended up minoring in industrial engineering, which was over at the engineering school. I took a leap. We didn't have a marketing concentration at the time. I did not want to cross over into Seminole territory. And so I stuck with it at FAMU. And that's how I ended up with my minor. It turned out to be a wonderful decision on my part because my career ended up being in market research, database marketing, and that whole statistics side, which had many of the aspects that were taught in industrial engineering as well as business combined. Ergonomics, for example, that I learned in the engineering side, but as well as the marketing and business administration components. So while I was at FAMU, I also participated in the National Beta Club, and was second VP of a scholarship association. So I was active in some of the other organizations as well. I didn't just hit the books, but I wanted to be a well-rounded person, as we all strive to be. And I think that helped me in terms of my stamina and my drive, being both an athlete and a scholar. And I was lucky to become Scholar Athlete of the Year in 1992. So since then, I graduated magna cum laude from the School of Business. I did my 3 internships and all those good things that business administration majors do, Prudential, Eastman Kodak, and what was the other? There was a third. It'll come to me. But they were back to back, almost a blur, and they taught us a lot. So we use those every day in our business life. And I certainly use that in my career in marketing research, database marketing. And the majority of my career was actually spent at AAA Auto Club South, although I worked at other companies such as Darden and Home Shopping Network. For example, Dun & Bradstreet was my first company that I landed out of the School of Business as a management trainee. But I so love the area of research, and all of those experiences have helped me to become valuable, I think, to the National Alumni Association. It's what inspired me to stay connected to both FAMU and my career. And I think it's a good marry of both. Actually, I started off joining a chapter in the Tampa Bay area. So the Tampa Rattlers was my first chapter. And while there, not only did I work for AAA, I worked for the Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce. And believe it or not, President Humphreys was the president at the time. And they were trying to decide where to land our law school. And so as we know, Tampa was one of the locations that was considered. And, you know, in addition to Orlando and areas in Lake County and Winter Haven. And so I did the research to support the Tampa side. But honestly, I was crossing my fingers it would end up right where it is today in Orlando, because that's where the greatest support was provided. And so President Humphreys and those in administration at the time were keenly aware of what was going to support our students. And that's one thing I admire about the staff at FAMU. They are keenly aware of the atmosphere, and they support our students in whatever way that they can. So after I left Tampa, I ended up in Kentucky. That's where I founded the Kentucky chapter. I became Midwest Region Vice President. I served on a number of National Alumni Association committees. And here I am, still remaining involved to some degree. And hopefully I can keep the momentum going. But one little thing most people don't know about me, I am a native of Madison County, Florida. So shout out to Madison County for those of you who know that little town south of Tallahassee. I grew up in San Diego, California. And you might wonder how that happened. Well, I'm a Navy brat. So that's how that happened. But I stay close to my roots. And when I make homecomings, I'm sure to stop by home in Madison County. So that's just something to know about me.
Okay, good stuff. You probably know Miss Cook then.
I've met her.
Okay, yeah, that's friend of the family. You know, yeah, we go way back. Look, I tell people quick, Tallahassee's small. That whole Tallahassee to like Madison, almost going back towards like all that, everybody related, or you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So, and you mentioned kind of your time at FAMU athlete, but you didn't quite get to why did you choose FAMU? Like, you know,
well, I'm a legacy. My mother was a graduate of FAMU. She has her master's of public health. She's a nutritionist and dietitian. She was class of 1963 with Dr. Walter Smith, a former FAMU president. And so I was able to attend her 50th class reunion with her, which was really eye-opening. So I'm legacy in San Diego. In fact, growing up there, where there are literally no HBCUs, I would not have known about FAMU other than through my family. But what was interesting is my mother didn't mention FAMU until I reached high school. And so when I reached high school, it just so happened that I was watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. And guess who appeared in that parade? The Marching 100. Okay. So when I saw the Marching 100, I asked my mother, well, who is that? And that's when she laid out her storyline about how wonderful FAMU was. And as a matter of fact, that's where you're going. So there weren't a lot of choices there. We actually relocated to Florida, my hometown, just in time for in-state fees. And so I attended part of my senior year of high school at Maynard Evans High School in Orlando, and then went on to Florida A&M University from there. So in addition to my mother, I have an uncle who has taught biology at FAMU, and I have also another cousin, a couple of cousins who have graduated from FAMU and have taught at Florida A&M University as well.
Okay. The quiet rivals. So I started working at Jones when I moved down here, and my wife worked at Evans. So so we keep a little bit of the rivalry, you know.
Good woman.
She's over at Edgewater now, but I still rock with Jones.
Okay.
So, but good times, man. I don't know if you saw, like, the entire senior class from Jones and Evans all got scholarships to the local community college.
I did. Yeah. 2-year scholarships. I'm very happy for them. And I pray that once they finish those 2 years, they go on to FAMU. Don't stop there.
No, look, I told you, Orlando's small city too. Like, y'all be like, oh, it's a big city. Everybody know everybody. It's like 3 steps between this person, and you say one name, and then all of a sudden things connect. So, but in mentioning that, and we started kind of mentioning city of Orlando, and you mentioned life post FAMU professionally. You've worked in marketing and other areas, but you've also been active in the Orlando chapter of the National Alumni Association. Could you kind of speak to that journey and that growth? Because we've heard from some of your constituents and I don't even want to say counterparts, like family, and have really talked about growing this chapter from being really small to a very vibrant chapter. We actually got an event coming in a few weeks. Got the president on the show coming up talking about that. But could you talk about just your work within the Orlando chapter?
So I've actually supported the Orlando chapter for more than a decade. Little beknownst to many of the newer members, my mother served as treasurer of the Orlando chapter several years ago. And so whenever the Orlando chapter had a venue, or whenever the National Alumni Association had a convention in Orlando, my mother would call me in Tampa, let me know I need to be in Orlando, and I would attend those events and support them, whether in attendance or financially, both, really. And so since coming to Orlando, relocating to Orlando back in 2017, of course, I was going to join the Orlando chapter. And so I joined the chapter. It was maybe a couple of years after I arrived, and I participated on the community service committee. I was kind of getting to know some of the members. I worked at Valencia College at the time in institutional research. And so I've always enjoyed community service. In fact, I received a Distinguished Alumni Award in community service from FAMU. And so that's something that I've always done and had a passion for. And so after doing that and meeting a couple of the members, the following year, there was an election. And the office of second vice president was open. And so I thought, why not? You know, someone's looking for support in that area, and I'm certain that I could offer at least some help in some way. There were a new slate of officers, a new president. And so I did that. And I became second vice president, which I served 2 terms of the Orlando chapter. And in that capacity, I used some of my research strengths from my career to conduct their annual survey to get an assessment of the membership, and also to try and do some data mining to dig a little bit and understand kind of where we could help promote scholarship, if there were some connections through corporate and our membership that we can have matched giving, for example, who those individuals might be. I learned a little bit about their needs, where they saw that there were problems in the chapter that could be corrected, and what suggestions from chapter members were that we could grow and build upon. And so I use that to kind of dig and look for some insight. And of course, we were able to use that information in event planning and improving our communications, and also in just the way that we, the types of events, in addition to the way we share that information. I also, for example, served as kind of a spokesperson, if you will, not really a spokesperson, but at events I may have emceed and promoted the chapter. And I did that at one such membership event that was held in the city of Winter Park. And we had a successful turnout. It was kind of a jazz brunch type situation. And we had one of our local distinguished alumnus there in the name of Elleretha Carson. And she's one of our senior rattlers who's on the board of Ebony Nutrition Consultants. And she's retired at this time, but it was wonderful to kind of connect the two, because that was the first time some of our local chapter members had also met her, as well as Fabiola Gaines, who serves on the board as well. And T Gaines Entertainment actually helped to host that event. So it was a nice collaboration with family and friends and family. And so that's some of my responsibility. I was actually responsible for overseeing the membership committee. And so I work with them to help them to develop their membership kind of plan and implement that plan for the local chapter.
Okay, and I like how you kind of, that was a natural segue. I didn't even really push for that, and you kind of hinted at it. So within that, you stated some of the things that the second vice president does, but what are the second vice president's responsibilities? I know one of my, I don't want to say gripes, but one of my feelings with the National Alumni Association voting is, outside of like a few positions, I honestly don't know what I'm voting for. So in the second vice president, what am I really voting for? What am I supposed to be looking for? Because I don't want to be one of those people who's like, well, I'll use our former vice president of the U.S. She ain't do nothing. Okay, well, what was she supposed to do? She was the vice president. She wasn't the president. So I don't want to sound ignorant in my expectations. I always want to be real and rational. And within that desire to be rational, what are my realistic expectations for my second vice president?
Well, of course, every vice president should support the president. And so in that capacity, as second vice president, in the absence of the president or the first vice president, it would be my responsibility to conduct meetings and to conduct the business of the National Alumni Association as a whole. And so in terms of legacy planning, if you will, it serves as a position of fallback in case there's any disruption top down. Secondly, I would say that the second vice president oversees the scholarship committee, as well as the Distinguished Alumni Awards Committee at a national level. So scholarships are keenly important to our students and to the parents of our students, since they're paying for this education. And so we're looking to strengthen that area at a National Alumni Association level. Our scholarship committee is a separate committee for which I would serve and actually oversee. and Distinguished Alumni Awards. Those awards originally were not held within the convention, but they are now. So if you ever attend a National Alumni Association convention, you can buy a ticket to attend the Distinguished Alumni Awards, and we have several. We have several distinguished alums, whether they're playing Disney characters or making movies or running multi-million-dollar companies. And we like to honor them through the Distinguished Alumni Awards. There are usually at least a dozen a year that are honored. And the connection to scholarship and Distinguished Alumni Awards can be made because many of their companies give financially towards FAMU or have the potential to give to FAMU. And so it's fitting that both of those roles, those committee oversight roles, fall under the second vice president.
Okay. Look, y'all see me kind of doing like this. I'm taking notes. I'm a note taker. So, I'll tell you the truth. On the line, literally, one of the things like, at first it was like, who's taking notes? And then after that, it was like, Keith's taking notes. So I'm normally a note taker. But
also, I just want to add one more thing, because one of the key responsibilities is to help grow the alumni at every level, but under second vice president, particularly the Student National Alumni Association. So that connection to students from scholarship to plugging them into the National Alumni Association is a part of that responsibility. And I would want to do that even before they graduate. So when they graduate, it's a natural transition.
I appreciate that. Look, like I told you, look, because I'll pause the mic, get these notes right. Because, look, I'm a voter. Like my mama's instilled that in me. So when it's something, even if it's city commission, I saw my neighborhood lady when I was driving home. She saw me. That's a girl. She already know. She know if it's something bad. She be like, we're going to City Hall. We need to be there at 6 o'clock. I'm like, all right, I got you. Kelly, no, I'm dependable.
Exactly.
So within this same vein, in the same area, we're seeing that and learning that, really learning that the regional VP experience that you've had naturally goes towards the national level. But could you kind of speak a little bit more? Like you're our second, third regional VP I've had on the show, or maybe fourth. But
yes.
How does that experience lend itself to the national level? I mean, it seems like a natural trajectory, but I don't know.
Yeah, and there's that expectation also. If you've served as a regional vice president, of course, your natural progression would be to a higher level. And typically that would be one of the vice presidential roles. Because much like management, if you work in corporate America, you hope to promote and elevate. And as you do well, you would hope that there are those who see your growth and your experience, and you can apply that at the next level, and especially within the same organization, because you're learning the organization as you work and as you grow. And so it behooves you to stick with it and to also take that next level step if you're still going to be involved in National Alumni Association, so that you can help everyone at that level. So as regional VP, it was a unique experience in which I oversaw the 13-state Midwest region. Now, there were 13 states. Our alumni are scattered all across the United States and beyond. There's actually an international alumni chapter at this point. But 13 states was good enough for me. In fact, I did not travel to all of them, but I did hit at least half of those states, trying to meet alumni, trying to help to get the Midwest region reconnected back to FAMU. In fact, my first regional conference theme was Back in Love Again with FAMU, because there was a disconnect at some point in which the region didn't really function. And after I'd founded the Kentucky chapter, and we were initially the only chapter when I received our charter that was active at that time, I sought out other chapters or other alumni to find out what happened to those chapters. where there's some that were inactive, where there's some that were never chartered, and it turns out both. And so I wanted to help bring those back into the fold that had left for one reason or another, and help to start new alumni chapters where there was a robust amount of alumni in the area. Get them reconnected, find out, what they're doing, and have they given back, and if not, would they like to give back? Because sometimes people just need to be asked. If given the opportunity, their heart is willing. And I found that about a lot of the alumni in the Midwest region. And so some chapters came back with a force, such as the Detroit chapter, which had the largest number of life members during that time, just kept bringing them in, just kept swinging, and was really competing with Florida at every level. And then the Chicago chapter, where there were over 500 plus alum in the area. But at the time, the chapter wasn't active. They were hosting events. They were having events with numbers in the, 100 or more people until we were able to get them plugged back in to National Alumni Association. And everyone was represented when the National Alumni Convention came to Louisville, Kentucky some years ago. And I really wanted to make it an experience that they would not forget, so that they could continue to stay connected. So, for example, we plugged them into Churchill Downs and had a venue on Millionaires Row for rattlers called Rattlers at the Races. They got to see horse racing. They got to eat from the, chef-inspired buffet and sit in the seats that are adjacent to where the Queen of England, sat when she came to see the races. So that was an experience. They got to meet the president of the Muhammad Ali Center, who provided rattlers with free admission to the Muhammad Ali Center during their stay. And so we had a number of sponsors and corporate connections that made that a really pleasant experience for all. They were stationed at the Galt House, for example, which is one of Louisville's oldest and most historic hotels. And it was beautiful. And I was so happy that, nothing goes perfectly, but things went well enough that people really celebrated being there. And the Midwest region was recognized. And at that time, they called us the Mighty Midwest because they grew to be the second largest, only behind of the alumni establishments regions, only behind the Florida region. So that experience taught me a lot. It wasn't easy. When you hear from rattlers, you hear from rattlers, the good, the bad, the ugly, but they tell you the truth. And I can appreciate that because it helps you to grow. And in the end, that you're supported, because if you're supporting the university, they're going to support you in some way or form. If nothing else, you try and give them the information that they can help the university directly. But, the alumni is our force to reckon with. And I hope that everyone will stay connected, as I learned to get them connected while regional VP.
Okay. And I like that you mentioned that getting people back connected. And I think that's one of the things that as an alumni, we struggle with, especially, the first couple of years. Some of us had kids, some of us don't. Look, I ain't gonna lie. I had a kid that last year of college. So the first couple of years, look, we had to get us straight. But once we got us straight, now we're active. But in the aspirations of moving up to the national level as a second VP, how do you utilize that experience in particular? Because we've been given by the current president, and depending on whatever elections go, we do know there's still going to be a push to increase membership. Doesn't matter who's the president. But how do you continue to use that skill set that you've acquired in the Midwestern Conference? And was Chuck up there when you were in Detroit at that time?
No, Chuck was in Florida at that time.
Okay.
And yes, Chuck was my predecessor, I want to say maybe 2 removed. But I did get a chance to meet him when I came to Florida to accept the charter for the new Kentucky chapter. So he's the one that actually kind of showed me around and introduced me to the other regional VPs. So yeah, we have that kinship in the sense that we were both Midwest region vice presidents.
Gotcha. And how are you going to be able to use them skills though? Like, how are we going grow the National Alumni Association? Maybe, borrowing from what you did at the Midwestern level.
Of course, use my listening skills. You got to listen to people. I have my own ideas. Of course, I'd like to work with the students and get them connected, be a conduit for their voice, and be sure to integrate those things into the National Alumni Association and Convention that are important to them. But in order to grow that side of it, we will grow the alumni as a whole. In addition, I'd like to reach out to those who are doing well, who may think they're too busy. I mean, we've had people at executive levels who are more than willing to be a part of the Alumni Association if just asked. And again, I would reach out and make the necessary travel to do what is necessary. Use my research skills, use my collaboration skills. All of those are important, and use the information that you learn about the school to educate the people, not only on what the National Alumni Association does, but what their connection is and how they really benefit by being a unique and a collaborative body that supports the university, that we're not separate, but we're actually a part of the whole.
Gotcha. Okay. And, we're going to give you a few minutes to stomp out in a few minutes. But before that, you're well traveled. You've probably been to the Brown Derby, a couple spots like that up there. And that spot in Louisville, right?
Yes. The Kentucky Derby.
Also. I'm a UK fan. So don't charge against me. I was in Gainesville. Yeah.
You know a little history. FAMU beat
yes, I do.
UK.
Yeah, I do. But with that, you're here in the Orlando area now. And again, part of the show and part of this is folks get to see the person behind the person. So when you're here in Orlando, kind of get to lay your hair down. Now I'm not gonna lie to you. The Noobs got First Fridays on lock. If you're in Orlando First Friday, the Noobs got that. We got that. Blue Martini. Come hit us up. But what's your go-to spot here in Orlando? You trying to lay your hair down, just calm down. What's your go-to spot?
Well,
it's not like some gatekeeping.
You might see me anywhere, but honestly, I love the arts. So you would like me to see me at the theater, at the Dr. Phillips Center.
Oh.
I love the theater. And so whether it's seeing Lion King or any of those great Les Miserables, I love that's where I relax, and that's what I enjoy. So I can do that. But you might also see me on the tennis court because as a former FAMU tennis player, I still love the game, whether it's watching, playing, or just, being a part of that atmosphere.
Okay. Only thing I need them to do at Dr. Phillips Center, I hadn't been about 2 years. We saw Hamilton. I need to fix the popcorn. They had some like truffle popcorn stuff. Trash. Hot garbage. Did not like it. Hated it. But the venue is fire. Parking is kind of like, I ain't gonna lie. I paid for my wife to do like the valet parking. She taught me well, and I just let them handle that business. So, so two more questions. Gonna let you then stomp out of here. We got our other guests in the background. FAMU alumni. You ain't gotta say no names. You ain't gotta tell no people. You ain't gotta tell what you did. What was your best FAMU experience?
Winning the MEAC championship. I did that 1991, and that was a thrill because it was close. We weren't sure if we were going to do it. At the time, Howard University had a tough tennis team, and we were just fighting tooth and nail to the end. Coach Mungin was there, Rodney Goodwine, Carl Goodman was also a part of the coaching staff, and they waited until the very end to tell us that we had won the MEAC championship. So that was a thrill. That was my greatest experience.
Okay. Everybody got that one at FAMU. Everybody got something. Okay. Now, we can't let it go out without. Now, if you're in Orlando, is it April 19th? We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna, get ready. Look,
That's
short
right.
notice too, but get ready. Last year we had a ball. They're gonna be there all day. I won't be there all day this year, but I will be stopping by. I helped a little bit last year. I'm coming to hang out a lot of bit this year though. Get your fans ready. I'm too manly for my fan though. I'm sorry.
Yes.
um,
Yes.
but before we
Congratulations.
bring our next person in, I want to make sure, and look, let me make sure I get the graphic up. I'm gonna have you stomp out, let the people know why they should vote for you, why they should choose you, and why you are the best candidate.
Please vote for Eleanor McCoy for second vice president of the FAMU National Alumni Association. It's experience, it's caring, it's servant leadership with integrity. I'm looking forward to collaborative student involvement, inclusive alumni support and growth, and also increased corporate and community interests. We can grow together. So let's make it happen. Vote for Eleanor McCoy, and I will say the real McCoy.
Look, she did that, not me. I want to make sure y'all know. Well, Eleanor, thank you for coming on. Look, because she asked for 10. I was like, I need more than 10. I need to come and talk to the people a little bit. And then all of a sudden, other stuff happened. So I was like, hey, good timing. So, look, you are always welcome on, though.
Thank you.
Have you voted yourself?
I have voted.
She better than me. I got it. I was like, I'm gonna wait for another day. So I'll probably vote Saturday or probably, because we got chapter meeting Friday. That's part of it. I'm not going to the spring game.
That's
But,
no
yeah.
problem. I look forward to hopefully meeting some of the students and other alumni at tomorrow's Florida Region tailgate, also FAMU's first football game.
There we
So
go.
we'll see you there.
All right. So we'll see you there. Eleanor, we appreciate you. And
Thank
look,
you.
to answer EA's question, yes. So we're going to wave Eleanor out and bring our other guests and friend and family of the show in. Bryan Fulford from the O&G Strikezone. Look, so yes, we are definitely talking sports, mixing it in. If I didn't hear the news, our basketball coach is leaving. I hit up Bryan. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
No, he gone.
He gone. I hit up Bryan because a lot of times Bryan ends up being my sounding board when I really can't say everything I want to say on the show, or if I can't say things. So a lot of times Bryan becomes that sounding board. But and so he does get the consternation that y'all don't hear. But I'll let you start on Bryan, because you are the guest today. How you feeling about this, bro?
I'm definitely disappointed. Not surprised. You can start to connect the dots when, and I always knew that. And let's start with the Alabama A&M position, because you had the word floating about Coach having not signed his extension yet. When that was out there, and then you started drawing the whole, well, Alabama A&M had a lame duck coach who by the end of the year, the school had the option to pick up the fourth year on his deal. And I would not look. There was no way, after what he had done 3 years, he wasn't the hire of Dr. Paul Bryant. The question was, where was Dr. Paul Bryant going to go? And so once you saw that he hired somebody who was someone that he had already previously hired, right? And I first caught that name, and it kind of caught me. I was like, really? But is Alabama A&M going to make the financial commitment to match what Dante Jackson was getting at Grambling? Oh, yes, they did. So then you're thinking, okay. Well, now the Grambling job is open, which was also paying pretty good money, the second highest salary in the contract in the conference. I mean, look, I believe Coach Crarey wanted to stay at FAMU, right? I believe he wanted to. But I also, two things can be true. I also believe that Coach, it's hard to pass up a school when they want you. When they put the full court press on, and Grambling was burned. Let's keep it clear. Grambling was burned by, Alabama A&M. So can't wait for that matchup and that rivalry, right? I mean, and say what you want, Dante Jackson choosing as a leader, like you gotta like the leadership in you has got to say, oh no, I just lost. I feel like I'm doing a good job here, but I just lost to my rival, a competitor. Okay, so let me then go get the next best guy who's available. And even though he had signed the contract of the extra 2 years, it's what if they put it out there when Grambling put it out there, Keith, that they were offering $230. Come on, we should all looked at that and said, "Ooh, there's no hiding what the contract will be." No, we are publicly putting it out there that we are going to pay our coach $230. Really? Wow. Yes, you had to put that out there because last time was getting almost that much. And then they had the Adidas sponsorship, which if you took a look at the contract or knew anything about the contract that Dante Jackson was getting with the bonuses, Dante Jackson was going to be potentially making the most money in the conference, which more than Johnny Jones at Texas Southern with bonuses. So, look, I think Coach, at the end of the day, I want to keep some things close to the vest because, like I said, I've spoken to Coach. Mm-hmm. I will just say this, and I'm not speaking about our AD when I say this, but administrators and administration above her are the reason why this happened. You had people who look when you have I got to be careful when you have your boss,
get it, Brian.
yes, get the belt. When your boss, I'm talking your boss. Okay. When you are being courted by somebody else and that boss is talking to you in a week more than your current boss that you've been under for the last 8 months, they want you. They're telling you and showing you by not only the contract that they're offering, they want to do X, Y, and Z. And maybe they're realizing that, oh man, we shouldn't have been so casual with the last guy because we had a good one and we messed up. But let's make that strong commitment here. And if we want to get this guy, make this strong commitment now. President's like, bam, let's make it happen. How many? I know AD Suggs wants to do certain things, but how many hoops and channels and people does she have to go through to get things to happen at FAMU? She probably wants to control her budget. How many loops does she have to go through to get control of her own budget? How many places does it stop? So you got this we've talked about this, Keith. We've seen it with our own eyes. You got people who were responsible for this fiasco in the first place come to basketball games. Sit there, front row seat, drink the good food, eat the good food, walk right by the coach and don't speak. Come on, man. Come on, Keith. Tell me you're wanting. Tell me you don't want me without telling me you don't want me. I'm winning games. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm out here winning games. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But you're gonna walk by me and not even speak? I mean, swallow your pride, or at least just be the representative that you should be. Speak. I'm winning ball games. I'm representing the school well. Y'all go, okay. I might be telling too much, Keith. I don't know, but I don't care right now. We said this before. When the contract extension was signed, people should have been calling him. People in certain places should have been calling him to apologize. Not calling him this week, Keith. Not calling him this week. He should have called 2 months ago. You should have called 2 months ago when you allowed this embarrassing situation to happen. Don't call me now. But still, even with all that said, Keith, the man didn't want to go. He was still recruiting for FAMU.
Yeah.
He was still recruiting for FAMU.
Yeah.
But the full court press was so much, Keith, that it was like, I mean, at some point, you have that conversation with your wife. The man has a wife and kids. He has a family. Remember, he came up to South Florida, left his family in South Florida because he was guaranteed promised money that he never got.
Yep.
So, hey, I got these people over here in Louisiana. They really, really want me. It's hard to, and I will not be surprised if when he has his introductory press conference, it might be emotional. But for someone who has been on the journey that he has been, who's done it the right way, tried to build himself up and won games in different places, we just want to be wanted, Keith. As coaches, you want to be wanted. And while Angela Suggs, AD Suggs, wanted him, obviously she didn't hire him. But she's grown to like and appreciate Coach Crarey, and she definitely wanted him, right? Not everybody did. So at the end of the day, I can drive the bus. I can say, hey, Rattler Nation, let's get on board. We got a good one. We still got people to this day that Keith, and because you in the same chat that I'm in. There's still people talking about, man, F him. He want to stay. If you ain't about FAMU, about what? If you ain't about FAMU, when's FAMU going to be about somebody? When are we going to have the right kind of administration from the top? I'm talking the tippy top that is going to start to realize that if we're going to be great at Florida A&M, that we have to do things differently. We got to do things differently. But, okay, come to homecoming, drink all the good drink, eat all the good food, present a few checks, take pictures when we win championships, keep doing all that. And, be the revolving door with coaches that we continue to be, instead of having the, and the players will come in here. If we have learned nothing from the transfer portal, Keith, and seeing 17 basketball players, men and women, 17, Keith, 17 hit the portal. It's not just because we are a great HBCU, College of Love and Charity. All that stuff that means something. It's a different day and age, Keith.
You're right. And I ain't gonna lie, Brian. When I saw it first time, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of thought it was like, we serious? And then because somebody else texted me and was like, what's going on, Crarey? I was like, last I saw it was here. And then I checked and I was like, oh. And then I saw like reputable people say he was leaving. And at first, I was mad because it was, and I've been not using him, but considering what this guy said a lot. I don't know if you remember Jeremiah Wright and the flack that Obama got for going to his church. And one of the things he said was, your chickens have come home to roost. And I feel like this is a situation where FAMU's chickens have come home to roost. You've consistent. FAMU's cheap. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as like, I used to work for FAMU.
We've got the way we're doing more with less. And we kind of, and the one thing I love when Kofi talked about this, we have worn that on a badge, like this little R on my chest, right? Like this logo that we do more with less. Man, it's time, it's over. That is done. It's time to stop it. We're paying a coach $150K, $160, the lowest in the conference with a 3-year deal. remember, Keith, when I said we are acting like an NAIA Division II program, and that's the kind of coach we're going to get. AD Tiffany Suggs, that's what she went out and got, because that's what we act like and operate like. We operate like a Division II NAIA basketball program. So that's what I can go get. Yep. Now, here's the question, Keith. When we do make the new coach, are we going to be presenting or putting something on the table of 200,000+?
No. I'll be honest, Brian. When it comes to me with FAMU basketball, and this could be wrong, but y'all know me, I cut it straight. Like, I rather tell you the truth than lie to you any day of the week. But for me, the truth is, when it comes to FAMU, we are going to allow the same people. How to help you with that. And look, Alexa's trying to get in this. I don't even need her in this conversation. How to help you with that. Look, she done got mad with FAMU too. Alexa gonna get me demonetized. I don't care. But she ain't gonna stop me. I shut her down. When it comes to FAMU basketball, we're gonna hire the same jabronis and bums and friends of friends that we've been hiring and give them less resources that they need so that they can fail. And we're gonna reset this program back another 10 years. Like, I'm sorry. I said this to somebody, a friend of the family, one time about CJ. And I was like, he's going to fail. And it's not because he's a bad coach, but it's because he's set up to fail. He hadn't been coaching long enough. He ain't got the support. It's him and one assistant. Where the heck are you going? And you're going to go back and you're going to do the same darn thing. You're going to go hire somebody with some connections to FAMU. That's your mama, your cousin, your friend of a friend of a friend. And you're going to give them $125,000, $150,000 check. Not enough assistance, and then set up there the Lawson Center and say, we got a 20-year arena that looks like it's the best thing smoking with nobody in it. Why don't y'all come support? Because nobody wants to watch losers. And at the end of the day, you're not going to pay top dollar for lower level quality. And Crarey is getting a crappy contract. You literally, the board of trustees laughed in that man's face for how long? No matter how much you said it, I said it. I remember AD Suggs in the stadium being like, I'm working with him. I'm trying to help him get his contract. And Crarey stated he didn't want to go. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I texted brother today. I was like, hey, man, congratulations. I'm glad for you. Go be great on purpose. He's like, man, I ain't want to go. But you know what? Business is business.
Yes,
like,
it is.
You can't shirk somebody and treat them like they're second rate when he's doing more with less. He can't even practice full time.
Thank you.
But he still, at one point, was in third place. Could have almost won the conference. Like,
if you're gonna pay me less, Keith, man, at least come by, and when you walk by, say hi, smile at me, offer me a piece of gum, offer me a cup of water, a bottle of water. I mean, do something, man. Talk about me to your friends or something. Let me, don't just. I won't keep it PG, but don't.
You're two flipping seats from the man, Brian. We were all there, like literally. Crarey, me, you, Crarey, myself, Ashley.
A fist bump, a little fist bump. You got to speak to me, but how about a little fist bump? Good job, coach.
Like, coach, you know what?
See,
this is me. This is me. I don't mind telling somebody I'm wrong. At least, hey, post game. Post game would have been a bad time. Pre-game, hey, coach, my bad, but I really want you to have a good year. Tell them what your hang-up was and keep it pushing.
It ain't about you, coach. I just want you to know it's really not about you. I want you to know, and that's been stated. That's been publicly stated out there, right? But your pride and ego wouldn't let you say that to the man. Wouldn't let you say that to him. Okay, there we go.
It baffled me, but and I understand anyone who's like it's a lateral move. It kind of is, but it's not. Like you said, you want to be wanted. Like, I've coached before, and I get the question. I got a former student in one of my class right now. Why don't you want to be track coach? Like, I don't do it. It ain't worth it. You got a good track coach over there. Why? I know I'm gonna get appreciated. I know what I put into it. Yeah. Like, what coaches get paid, Brian. Whatever money you make, you spend another $500 over that. Like, so we're saying that Crarey kind of got a raw deal. He did, and he finally got a good deal. And this is the killer for me, and this is the ticker. You gave him a contract at the Division I level, and then the first year contract, you made him earn his next contract, and the mother effer did.
Yes, he did.
He earned his next contract. He just
did.
did it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Like Fafo, you Fafo'd, and you found out.
I had somebody text me that it said, somebody said God don't like ugly. So, I mean, and this was a Raptor who said that. It was like, man, So, I mean, can I respond to? I know EA posted something in the chat.
Absolutely,
saying that he didn't. That I don't think he asked. I don't think he told the players he was leaving. We talked about this previously. EA, look. Those guys, again, had never averaged what they average at the Division I level. And I can do a whole show and go guy by guy. You really want to talk about. There are certain guys who were scoring at a high clip and had never done it at the Division I level. In this market, there's value to that. There's value to that. What are we paying? We're not paying kids. We're not. I mean, look. If Coach wanted to create a system where you had an NIL budget of maybe $200,000, $250,000, and be able to give 6 to 7 guys $35,000, how are we going to do that? Well, one way that can be done is doing what schools like Jackson State did out there. Remember what Jackson State and Mo Williams did? Go look at their schedule. 0-13. How many Power 5 programs did they play off the bat? 13. If I'm not mistaken, probably 13. Maybe 10 of them were high major. I don't know. We can go look it up. But what they do first game when they got into conference play, got to win. And then just kept winning and winning to the point where they won all the way to the championship. But that was a revenue share model that they had going on. So those guys that they brought in, Keith, they basically took some L's, which we've seen many HBCU programs do. Texas Southern has historically done that. Go out, collect the checks, take those L's, take those beatings. You put that money into the program. And then what we always see, come March, Texas Southern Invitational will come around. They would end up winning games. And we're looking up, damn, Texas Southern, look at this. I mean, so that type of model and system, Coach had already reached his mandated budget we had the number 1 toughest schedule in the non-conference season, right? Played the national champions, Florida. I mean, we played all the major conferences, Big 12, ACC, Big East, all of them. We played them all. Big 10, played them all this season. I mean, how many tournament teams did we play this year? Probably about 6 tournament teams. So, but what he couldn't do, Keith, is with that extra money, he couldn't get that extra money to the players through NIL.
Nope. And what did he say he wanted to do on your show? Remember, he was on the O&G Strikezone. I will never forget. I was going to the tag. I won't say never forget, but I won't forget it for a little while. And I was literally sitting in the parking lot watching him say, I would not mind a salary increase, but I'd rather have a model that allowed me to give my players more of the money, because if I could make more money for the program, I can put that back into the players.
Mm-hmm. He's a young coach that understands this model. He knows. Look, Coach Crarey knows that right now this is a player's market. He's going to get paid. He's going to get, look, this is a stopping stone, folks. I mean, we're a mid-major program. He will eventually be coaching out a Power 4 program, in my opinion. That's just
nice,
my
Brian.
belief. Huh?
You're being nice.
Well,
we're not a mid-major.
Well, we're okay. A low resource mid-major. Is that a third category? Okay, there's a third category. Low resource mid-major. Keith. Yes, the money doesn't go back in the program. But that's the kind of stuff that has to change. That has to change. And I know we're going through this period of, I don't know what our president can and can't do. I don't know what Dr. Beard can do. He's in interim. I don't know, but he's in charge. I mean, I would imagine he could do. I mean, he totally asked for people's resignations and they turned them in. So I guess the man has enough power to be able to act as the president, right? So if there are enough people above 80 Suggs that she can get to understand how athletics works, and get them to create a changed system, a system of change. I mean, I'm telling you, we don't let change. I got people who are very pessimistic right now that we are going to and you just said it, but we're going to spin our wheels in this cycle of mediocrity. And it's discouraging. It's discouraging because we do have great coaches, and that's a testament to the hiring process. We keep finding great coaches. But when are we going to invest in them? When are we going to invest in our athletic programs like a Division I program? We're already at the minimum number of programs as it is. When are we going to invest like we really need to invest?
So, and I think the other frustrating part is, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, part of my frustration was definitely going to the Cookman game. That was my first time in that gym. I've seen better high school gyms, and there's no like disrespect. Like,
no, it is what it is.
It is what it is when you go there. And you know what? But you're seeing they were neck and neck with us. And honestly, there were times when you could argue we overachieved in that game, especially with some of the stuff we lost. And you're like, how are we not dominating this situation? Like, I guess my question, and you know, I know we both got to go to work in the morning. So my first question is why? Like, why is this a perpetual system at FAMU? Like, for me, you know, I'll let you start off and then I'll come back with my frustrations.
I've been asking that for how long we've been on our show? 4 years now. 4 years. And God rest his soul, Kofi Hemingway. The great thing about having him and Kelvin Rozier is, I mean, they drove the show. It's not me. I know I talk too much, talk a lot, but whatever. They drive the show because they know where the bodies are buried. They've been in it. They've lived it. They're from Tallahassee. They've seen it, right? And when I hear those brothers want to see change, and it's a systemic problem at this point, Keith. I really think it is. I don't know if it'll get better with a new president. Don't know if it'll get better with a new governor. I don't know. I really don't. But at some point, I mean, we can hope that it gets better with a new athletic director. But the scary part is, Keith, I mean, don't make me show the graphic of how many athletic directors we've had in the past 20, now 5 years. How are we ever? I mean, you think all of them just left because they were incompetent or incapable, whatever phrase you want to use? No. Even the one who recently left, I mean, you know, she had her works, but I mean, there were some things she wanted to do, you know, even the ones who have left that have gone on to other schools and been administrators, right? There's a systemic problem at Florida A&M, and I don't know if anybody really wants to address it. And I don't know if there is enough watchdogs to really call it out. And I say that because in order for it to get called out, Keith, somebody's going to have to open up the casket, dig up the graves, and really shine a real bright light. And I think some of us are really scared about what that might look like. So we will continue to keep our heads in the sand and I'm just, man,
you're not triggering though. You're truthful, Brian. Like, you know.
But I mean, I want it to be, you know, who's going to be the change maker? Who? I really don't know, Keith, because I don't, again, and this is where the systemic problem, because until somebody at the highest level comes in with a big axe and starts chopping and says, I want to break this down and change the way, and it's going to be uncomfortable for us because we don't know who's going to do that. See, we're so worried about it affecting other things, Keith, that athletics gets lost because we're trying to protect all these other entities, right? We really are. We're trying to protect our culture, our history, our programs, our colleges, you know, our accreditations, all of that stuff that we're trying to protect. And then, oh, yeah, athletics.
You know who that really makes me think of right now? They've never done it like this before. No one had the coverage to do this. I'm the only one that could do this. Y'all need Trump.
I hope I didn't. Oh my God. I hope Jesus.
Jokes aside,
now. Yeah, geez.
Like, you need that level of like, I don't give a F going on. Like, this dude don't care if the stock market goes down. It goes down, whatever. It's cool. Now, when the bond market hit, it was a little different. But you almost need that kind of change agent because, and I ain't supporting that dude. But I'm just saying someone who's like, all right, if they die, they die. Like, he's really got the Thanos mentality. Like, but, and I'm a Tallahassee native too. And it, you know what? You're not wrong. Like, some of it is, we are trying to protect some things. And I think part of the why is some of us, and I'll include myself, don't want to move to the leadership positions. But then at the other point, some of our leaders don't want to move. And at some point, we have to either force these leaders to move or challenge them. Because if we don't, it's going to be that same group of 3 or 4 people that continuously make decisions, that have friends in Tallahassee, and who forget Tallahassee's that big. Like, you don't date in Tallahassee when you're from Tallahassee because you're probably related to the person from Tallahassee. Like, it's that big. And you really got to get to a point where you're understanding that, as you stated, it's a systemic problem that is literally ingrained in the culture. And part of the biggest issue, and I said it with Chuck, I've said it with almost every person, especially the presidents, FAMU lacks stability.
Yes.
Like, this is the most unstable program that is at a major level that I can think of. Like, when I talk to people who are not FAMUans, they're like, yo, what's going on over there? And you're like, oh, what you mean? And they're like, y'all always got a new president, got a new athletic director. Like, we've had so much turnover in this, really, think of the last 4 years. Like, what is it? 3 athletic directors, 2 football coaches. We're going on basketball coach number 3, 2 bowling coaches, softball coach number 2. Like, and a lot of this is tied to the same BS. 1, you don't want to pay nobody. But 2, like, I hate to say it, something for nothing is not really something. I don't care if it is Domino's. Like, something for nothing is nothing. Like, we have to get better as far as organizing, and we have to get better about creating stability. And FAMU has to be a place that people want to go to. And we have to understand that in this modern society, if you're not, or landscape, if you're not providing stability, you're just a pass-through. And Crarey did what all good business people do. You go to a place, you make it better, you find somebody that's going to pay you more, you go.
Exactly. You leave it in a better place than when you found it. And that's exactly what he did in 1 year.
That's I sent him that message. And he was like, I didn't want to go. And I said, Coach, you did right by FAMU. You're good with me.
Yeah,
like
exactly. FAMU didn't do right by him. I love the way you said that. He did right by FAMU in a situation and time, and FAMU didn't do right by him
at all.
And
so
that's shame on, you know, I'll say it from the start. Shame on the board of trustees. It started there. You know,
yep.
That's where it started. And, you know, I'm amazed that I remember some of those individuals talking about problems that they saw. Remember, you can see the problem. You're in a power to change it, but you don't. What does that say about you? Oh, well, let's have another committee meeting. Let's say, okay, go ahead. I mean, you've had committee meetings and I ain't seen a damn thing change, Keith. Not at a major scale. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Somebody tell me, maybe I am. But I don't think I've seen it really change.
Huh.
You can beat your chest and you say, well, I want accountability and I want this X, Y, and Z. But then you get worried that how am I going to come off? Or how maybe I was too hard on so-and-so. Maybe, no, man. Keep going. Matter of fact, go to the next level. But again,
and we're with this curve.
We have been, sadly, we've been conditioned that we're so cautious and we're so nervous of how we operate that we don't want to be the person that wants to really make change. We really don't.
So I do have this question, Brian, because you kind of hit my questions without me asking you. So we both agree. Board of Trustees have a big, huge piece to play in this. But one of the things I like that you point out about Grambling, and it was from them losing their coach. What did we learn? And did we learn anything?
Well, here's the thing about what we learned, and I think that's tough because to say what we learned, I think we have an administrator over athletics now that knows some of the things that would have prevented the situation from occurring the way it did. I would hope. Let me stop. I gotta stop hoping, Keith. I gotta stop hoping. I mean, I just can't, but I don't know. I don't know what we learned, Keith. It's a great question. I don't know what we learned. I mean, I can tell you that, we have to learn how to stop being cheap. But we're offering salaries that we're able to offer. Imagine here's what's going. Imagine this, Keith. What if we had an opportunity to hire a coach that has Power 4, Power 5 experience, over 20 years of that kind of experience at that high level? Would we offer that coach $150,000 a year? 20 plus years experience coaching at the Power 4 level, won championships, been into the NCAA tournament. Would we offer that coach a contract at $150,000? Or would we somehow find the money to say, well, we're going to offer him, I don't know, $230,000, $220,000 even. It's not really what you were making previously, but in our conference, it's pretty doggone good. And you've got experience that blows everybody else, maybe with the exception of one other guy in the conference, blows everybody's experience away. Do you think our university values that experience?
No, I'll be honest, Brian. And
that
you know,
that is our
I don't give
problem
two foods.
right there.
I think when it comes to this position, well, okay, any FAMU position, unless you graduate from FAMU, first and foremost, you need to be Black. We value your skin color way too much. Secondly, you need to be connected somehow to the university. And then the third thing, can you come at a good price? Like if you got them three things, you good enough to coach at FAMU. That don't matter if you qualify.
It was a good price. When the
$100,000, $125,000, we're cheap.
Yeah.
Like,
so we're looking for the next. So in that said, Keith, we're looking for the next NAIA or Division II coach that's done that's looking to make a step into Division I, and eventually will go on somewhere after FAMU. Yep. Which, if that's who we are, there are a lot of schools that are that. Okay, let's be that. Let's be that. And we may be that. I've said I believe that's who we are, but let's go ahead and just be that. And let's stop fooling ourselves that we're something else.
I agree. So, and I saw this on a post, and at first I wanted to get mad, but I had to be honest. Okay, it can't be the worst. But is this one of the worst college basketball jobs in Division I basketball?
Wow. That cut like a knife when I saw that post. I saw that. I know what you're talking about. Let me rephrase this question, because I had somebody ask me. Alabama A&M, Grambling State, FAMU. They asked me, they said, well, what? They said, Brian, what is the better job? I said, well, honestly, the job that will take you the furthest when you win is Florida A&M. Right? But among those three, we are third on that list because, A, we pay less than those other two programs. Our support of athletics and program of basketball is less than those two. So that's number two. And thirdly, fan support and engagement. Now, I can't speak about Grambling. I've seen them put up 6,000 people in Alabama A&M games. Seen it. So maybe we're not third in that category. Maybe we're second. But so right now, Alabama A&M, better job than FAMU. Grambling State, better job than FAMU. But, and this is, I think, the reason why Coach Crarey really didn't want to leave, because he knows that if he wins at FAMU, and if everything else is, it didn't even have to be great, Keith. That's the thing. It didn't have to be perfect. It just needed to be a little bit better. And if it's a little bit better, I mean, we got plenty of coaches, Keith, who are doing great with less than other people in the conference. And there's a reason why they haven't left, because even they know that, you know, I'm just going to keep praying, but I know I still got something really good here at FAMU. And at the end of the day, if it's about winning championships, I got a better chance to win a championship and go to some other school that might be paying me more. It's just in either a bad location, bad recruiting area, or, you know, the culture is just not what it is at FAMU. So that's why I said, if FAMU can ever get out of its own way, this is the better job. So no, it's not. So I guess in answering that question, it is not the worst job, but it's pretty filthy right now, pretty nasty. It's not a, but there are people who will want the job, Keith, because they can look past their nose and they can see the potential, and they can see the potential. Yeah, exactly. The perception, the perception right now. So it's not the worst job, sadly we just have to be better. We just have to be better, man.
I agree. I think
talking about this whole thing about being a basketball school. Come on.
No.
I mean, look,
if you're not in the ACC, if you're not in the SEC or the Big Ten, you're not a basketball school.
We want
to me at this point.
Okay. No, yeah, thank you. I mean, Big Ten, right? SEC is a basketball conference now. Watch what's about to happen over the next 5 years with the SEC. People were mad. Look, remember when people got upset when they had that run in college football? I got a feeling that's about to happen in college basketball. So get ready, it's coming. But I mean, man, we want winners. We want to win. We have a pride. That's what makes FAMU so great. We love celebrating. That's what we talk about on our show. That's what you talk about. We love winning. We want to celebrate. We have the number one band. We have the number one, football, baseball, softball. We want golf to be great. Basketball, we want to be great. We just got to get when we finally get coaches that understand that, and then but we got to be great administratively from the tippy top. That's where we haven't been great as it relates to athletics. We do great for all of the other things, and that's always killed me with Dr. Robinson, because they'd be like, well, does he not know athletics is like a school, like all these other schools that he loves? I mean,
it's the front porch.
No, not anyway.
And to follow up with that, and I don't think FAMU is the worst basketball program. I do think, like Kenya pointed out, it's a perception. And I think the other piece is, I don't think I don't think those two MFers who are sitting on the board of trustees realize that the coach is actually connected to other coaches, and that they're looking at the way you treated him and the fact that you treated him like straight, fresh dog trash feces resonated across the country. And all of a sudden, you got a bad reputation like that McDonald's down the street. I mean, the McDonald's down the street from me straight, but y'all know what I'm saying. There's always that one place that you don't go to no more because they got roaches. There's a reason Chubby's went out of business. Chubby's Chicken Fingers went out of business. Why? They had roaches in the salad. You knew it was sketchy when you was eating it. But you was like, hey, I'm broke. I'm a college student. I ain't got too many options. You ate it. But the perception is this program is trash because of instability. Like, so my next question is, how do we sell this to the next coach? Like, you kind of hinted at it, but how do we sell this to the next potential coach?
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I think 80 Suggs has to bring somebody in who doesn't have to make a big move. I think it has to be somebody. Yeah.
Can she get away with another one though? Like,
oh hell yes, she can. Yes, because
that one in particular, I know she can, but
I got two names.
I'm an FSU fan, so I don't give a shit.
Can I just go ahead and do it since we're talking? Let's keep it real. I'm gonna give you two names that I think would be slam dunk hires. They're on two different spectrums of the coaching history. Okay. I think it would be a home run hire if you could get Charlie Ward to be the head coach of FAMU from a couple of different advantage points. One, his family is FAMU. Get it? FAMU Lee. Okay, there's one. Two, Heisman Trophy winner in the city of Tallahassee, the nation, college football, blah, blah, blah. Heisman Trophy. I mean, hey, number 3, 15, 16-year professional basketball career. Number 4, isn't he opening some kind of basketball facility on the south side of Tallahassee?
Believe so.
Okay, check it. Can you, I mean, I don't know if you can get him to leave Florida High where he's at. He's been there for how many years? 10, 15 years? 10
Something
years,
like
probably.
10. Yeah, something about 10.
Had some real good programs. Sent some guys to the college level. So he's not unfamiliar with this current day and age of college recruiting, right? So that would be the slam dunk hire. He's not having to move. He's got roots. What is the AD tried to talk about doing? What the 850, the community, bringing Tallahassee to FAMU games. That would be a great hire. And I know there might be some other coaching candidates in the Tallahassee community area that might be good, but for all those reasons I just gave you, that's why I think. Now, no, Hollow's got a great candidate as well that he mentions. Love that man. Love him. Great coach, NAIA champion, winner. Okay. I mean, if we liked what Crarey did, Wright is a great fit. This one, Keith, let this be controversial. Let this be the first time it's being said out in public spaces.
There you go. As long as it's not my friend, we good.
I don't know if he is or not. Hashtag ham to fam.
Hell, you knew it was what I didn't want it to be.
I ain't gonna say his name. If you know, you know. I'm just gonna leave it there. Hashtag ham to fam. And I'm gonna say this. Here's why. His connection has been influential in the either 2 or 3 previous coaching hires at Florida A&M's men's program. He has had his hands massaging on the neck of board of trustees, members, and FAMU basketball for a decade. Conveniently, just retired. It's free. Conveniently, hey, he's been in the city coaching for the past, 23, 25 years? Pretty well connected in the college circles. The man hosts, I didn't even know this, Keith, he hosts a luncheon during the Final Four weekend. Like, it's really well popularly attended, right? It's been happening for at least a decade, but it's like one of those luncheons that you don't miss. Like, you get invited, you go. Ham called me, I got to go to a luncheon. I got to be there. Ham called, I got to show up. And he go away, Mike. Go away.
What about Stan Wilcox, though? I ain't gonna lie. Like, when you said Hamilton, Wilcox never got a shot, and you might get him cheap.
I'm not familiar.
He's the assistant coach. He's been under Ham forever. He's never gotten a chance. I don't think you can't afford CY and any of those other guys.
How old is he?
Yeah, he's about 60 something. I mean, Ham's in the 70s.
But he's Ham though. He's been coaching for 20 years. Now, see, there's a big difference between we've had that. We did that before, right? Didn't we do that with coaches who had never gotten a shot and all of a sudden got a shot? They'd been assistant coach for 20, 25 years, and then we've been down that road, have we not?
We did.
Okay, just checking. What we haven't done is hired somebody or brought in somebody to say, hey, be a bridge for our program. Give me a year or two, just be the bridge for the next guy. Get the staff. Almost, I don't say it, you just flat out turn the keys over. Be like, hey, you had success in coaching. There are coaches that were on his staff that didn't get picked up by the new administration over there at their basketball program. So there are guys who are out there who probably need a job. This could be a transition, a building. And I bet you anything, you won't have a problem getting approved on the board of trustees, by the way. But
nope.
I just, and I say all that because if anybody if anybody is in that mode of saying, we don't want to hire anybody from over there, man, y'all see that's the kind of stuff that, again, keeps us down. I don't care where he came from, because all I'm looking at is saying success, ability to recruit, being able to coach, you know, and you're part of the community. Look, to the point that he understands who we are is why he sent the last 2 or 3 coaches over. I don't know if it was 3 or 2. I know it's at least 2. I don't know if it was a third or not. But there's a reason why.
McCollum was in there as well.
McCollum, and then the one before him, wasn't it? Yeah. So he knows who we are. He has a respect for. There's a respect for FAMU. I don't know why he wouldn't schedule us in a regular season game. You know, that's beyond me.
I think he knows the history.
Yeah, but
some of y'all can't get over that. I was in Tallahassee.
That's the kind of stuff we got to move past. That's the stuff that we got to move past that. But anyway, I think you got 2 spectrums there, and I'm sure there are other names that you could go to, but that would be my short list. If I'm AD Suggs, she probably knows both of these 2 gentlemen very well. I'm calling both of them. I'm probably starting with Charlie and just putting it in his ear and saying, it's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
Because Charlie's approaching 50s. Like,
about same age, about same age as me. We're probably same class of, he's probably 2 years older than me. Yeah. But it's time. It's time. This is your community. And the community that you're building a new facility is right away, it's right near us. I mean, you know, come on, make it happen.
It's got to be a raise. I cannot see Florida High.
It's not even about the money. It's not even about the money. Now, look, yes, do we want to compensate you appropriately? It's not even about the money, though. It's about being able to build something and having the name that opens doors to what may bring something great, you know? And this is how you rebound from this scandal. And again, we're playing a PR game at this point too, Keith. There's a little PR game that has to be thought about here. So what better way? I mean, just open your, man, I can't get away from it. Everybody over the past 4 hours, I haven't checked what's trending, but I guarantee anything, 2 things are trending heavy right now. Patrick Crarey and FAMU. That is probably 2 of the top 5 trending things in America right now. You know?
Yep.
And we're on the negative spectrum for publicity with that. So how do you balance that? You got to go get it. You got to go get a hire that's going to have a name. And it makes sense for that community. There's 2 names I think that make sense. Maybe there are other people out there, but the 2 home runs to me, Charlie Ward and him.
I love the Charlie Ward one. Because it's really more than Tallahassee. It's South Georgia. Like, all of a sudden, like,
yes,
Charlie Ward's Heisman Trophy sits in the library of Thomasville. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize that. You can literally go to the public library and walk past one of Charlie's Heismans. Like,
how awesome would it be for those people? I mean, 20. How far is Thomasville? 20 minutes away
from FAMU's campus, about 45. Like, from my house, from my parents' house, that's about 20.
Those people go to games across the railroad tracks
all the time.
It's
not that bad of art. There's nothing better to do. Where are they going? K-Row?
What? Let's go.
Like, I love that idea. I think that's a huge connection. I love it, Brian. Before I let you go, because I know the wife's gonna give you the steak face. But we had a huge show, and I got to thank Eleanor, man. She's a trooper. She actually stayed in the background. She didn't have to. But when we're kind of looking at this, and you know me, Brian. And for the people, catch round 1 with St. Clair Marine, we have Coach Cozy on there. I don't know if Brian knows already. Brian probably got a scoop. Evidently, Coach Cozy is going to be calling the defense this year. So I asked that question last year. And so he did confirm he will be calling the defense this year. and they're going to really be focusing on situational football in the spring game. So that's going to be interesting, like to see the inverse of what we had under the Simmons era. Like I find that kind of exciting. I can't wait to hear what you and Vaughn are going to do for that. Kylan, I stay breaking news when I can break it, but that's not breaking news. He said it on St. Clair's show. For those who don't know, we tape on Thursdays. We air Friday on Halloween 95.
I love the ownership that comes with that. Everything that Colsey is doing right now is he is going, whatever we say about this 2025 season, folks, there is not a chance that we can say it's not because Coach Colsey didn't have his hands on it or fingers in it.
Yep. You can see where last year that was a problem, Brian. And I think all of us saw that. He's hinted at it. He said it. You know, some people kind of stayed on because when he got on, and he says it nicely, professionally. Cole's a PhD. Like, so you get a difference. Willie is a marketer. Willie's a master of marketing. Went to school for PR. Colsey, on the opposite, is more of your analytical, you know, this. I'm a little more quieter. He's more Professor X, whereas I see Willie more like Magneto. Like Magneto, he knows he's the best. Professor X, he knows he's good, but he's quiet about it. So, you know, I ain't gonna nerd out too bad. But let's see. You know, Brian, you're gonna be there for the spring game. And I'm gonna let you kind of work your way up out of this one. But can you tell the people, one, where they're gonna be able to see you on Saturday? Because let me know. If it's at the right time, I'll produce for you if need be.
Well, I may have to call you to do that because so myself, Kelvin, and we're going to be partnering with Vaughn Wilson and HBCU Game Day to do a live simulcast of the post game. So obviously the game starts at 4, maybe we'll end 6. I know there's a concert after. So while a lot of people will be out with Cupid, and I'm dating, I have no idea who this is. I'm sorry, I don't know if is this the same person who did the Cupid Shuffle? I don't know.
That is correct.
Is it okay? So good, Jess. While everyone's doing the Cupid Shuffle in the stadium, we will be doing a post game show somewhere from the field house. Vaughn has set up all this stuff, so it'll be great. But so between our show and HBCU Game Day, we'll be simulcasting it, talking to coaches, players, getting their perspective, even giving our own analysis of the things that we saw during the game, because there is no live video this year. So only thing you'll be able to do is kind of follow in-game post and then catch us after. And so yeah, I may need you to be, I may hit you up since you offered. And I may, because usually I try to do it all but I may need some extra hands. So I appreciate you mentioning that. And then I may take you up on that offer. But yeah, looking forward to having a chance to chop it up with Vaughn, and of course always with Kelvin. I'm looking forward to getting to Tallahassee on Saturday morning, and gotta go check out the softball team. Gotta check out the softball team at 1:00, and then go from there over to the stadium, and then from the stadium to the post game, and then somehow, some way, I'll maybe find time to lay my head down on a pillow. Maybe, hopefully.
I'm not mad at that, Brian. All right, y'all. Yeah, I know we're running long. But partially because, man, we had amazing guests twice over. I've never done 2 guests. So this is more like O&G Strikezone. They be having like 4 or 5 guests, But thank you.
Here we go long too, Keith. So blame that on me. See?
No, that's on me. Look, because when you have something like a coach leaving, and you want to hear this from FAMU people, like I don't besmirch anybody that's not a FAMU person, because everything they say is not always uninformed. Sometimes they know exactly what they're talking about, because some of the same people that talk to us talk to them, but they may not have that FAMU perspective, to really understand like how things work here or there. But so I appreciate you for coming on. Brian was a late addition.
Hey, look, Keith, that's it's funny you say that because a lot of people will be doing shows either right now, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, on Saturday, and they don't you know they don't know us like we know us.
Two people who have talked to Coach Crarey. I'll say it like that. Text. I did not call him. I text Coach Crarey, and I know you've spoken with him. So two people who've been in direct contact with the guy and got nothing but clash from him. Like post game, BCU game, Coach Crarey, he didn't have to. Did the post game with us. Even after the post game, talk X's and O's. Like when we say the gentleman did not want to leave, we're saying that from a sincere place. It's not something fake. It's a place where he was literally in talking to recruiting. Brian, you can attest. You got it on the video. I don't know if you got it on the video. I think we stopped the video before that. I asked him a kind of recruiting question like, man, I got kids wanting to come. I'm not even worried about recruits.
Yes, yeah, I remember him saying that. Yep.
So I will shout
down. And look, I'm not gonna be, I'm gonna just laugh at some of the memes that people throw out there. But the one thing I will shout down is anybody that tries to say he didn't want to be there. That is false. I'm not gonna call you a liar. I'm gonna say that's not true. He did want to be there. He was. Now, some of y'all may want to question the reasons why someone aren't we all, like you said, Keith, aren't we all always looking for a better opportunity? I mean, he's not a single man. He's got a family. He's got a wife, got kids, right? Doesn't he deserve an opportunity?
Remember post game, he delayed his trip and time to be with his family to talk to us. He's like, yo, I'm literally heading from Daytona to spend time with my family.
Yeah. I mean, so don't sell it short, guys. I mean, let's be disappointed. And look, I mean, I know I'm giving a lot of S to our board, but this is a systemic problem, Keith. We can't just, we can get the belt out, whatever.
Me and Kelvin, we cousins.
This is again a systemic issue that we have to ask the questions. We have to send the emails to the correct people and ask them, what are you not going to do? What are you willing to do to change the culture at Florida A&M University? And just stop there. If we do nothing but just ask that one question and just let them type and judge them on the response they get, ask our highest leaders, what are you willing to do to change the culture of Florida A&M University athletics / university? And just stop. Just listen. They will tell you everything about themselves in their response.
Yep. I agree. Before we get out, look, make sure first thing, like, share, subscribe. The O&G Strikezone. Look, JBL, the BCSN, Black College Sports Network. Like, make sure you like and subscribing. Always make sure, for me, do it for them, but also do it for me. I get no benefit from that, but we want to monetize every FAMU. And if you're watching, please like, share, subscribe. If you haven't voted yet, National Alumni Association, Miss Eleanor, I will bring her back up, but I don't know if she's ready. But check who you're voting for. The reason she came on was so that you knew kind of what was going on, who to vote for. Not telling you who to vote for, but like what their stance are. But also like, share Fangs Up podcast. Brian, anything? Was it Kelvin? What's Kelvin? I don't know Kelvin's tags off the top of my head. Sorry,
I think it's just Kelvin Rozier, Rosier.
Yeah, like KB Rozier.
Yeah.
But check them out Thursday, but special Saturday on the Black College Sports Network, my BCSN.
Yeah.
Anything before we head out, Brian?
Just pray. That's it. Pray.
Watch
all I
and
can
pray,
ask.
Rattlers. Watch
Right.
and pray. Pray for safe travels, y'all. Keep Brian in your prayers. Look, because I fuss at Brian. Brian will tell you I'm probably one of the biggest fussers. Like, what time are you leaving to go to Tallahassee? Why not, sir? So if I didn't have a previous engagement, I would probably volunteer to ride and drive because I love to drive. But not for this one, Brian, but for the next one, especially because we got frat meeting, voting, and other stuff tomorrow. So I got to be there. But anything else before you go?
No, man, it's I gotta find something healthy that's not gonna ruin my diet because I've missed my dinner window, but now but I don't know.
I got to cook. I'm
This
gonna
late.
throw in the air fryer.
It may not be anything. So just gonna have to suck it up and get up early in the morning and walk it off. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I won't get on Saturday. I'm gonna hit my bike ride, like hopefully. All right, y'all. For everybody at HBCU Digital Network, Black College Sports Network, my BCSN, even HBCU Game Day, even though they're not here today. Look, y'all, you already know what's up and what it's always gonna be. It's gonna be Fangs up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal.
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Dorsey, how